All right, deleting edges. Now, there's an important thing that you have to know because I see it all the time. Let's say if you take an edge and delete it. Don't ever do that, okay? One, you should always delete a whole edge loop, not just one edge, until you get to know what you're doing because it'll wreck the geometry as far as now you're going to get into five-sided faces and six-sided faces and everything else. Another thing is if you delete an edge, it also leaves behind its vertice. So let me show you something that you can do here. For example, I have this. What I want to do is take this part, these faces here, and I want to duplicate it off. Why? Because it's about the same size as what I need it to be. So this part right here is what I need. But what I need is a part without edge loops because I'm designing a brand new part. Well, what I could do is highlight all the edges, or a few of them, and go to edge loop, to edge loop, and edit mesh, delete edge vertice. So now I have a clean part that fits inside this part. So modify center pivot, and now that part fits quite well right there. Another thing is very useful is the ability to straighten it out. Let's say I need to take this and turn it into a flat box. Well, if I scale negative, it turns it flat. Okay, and then I could extrude that up. Now I have this brand new box, and it has an edge left behind it. Why? Because there was a vertice left behind, and that's what happens. So if you don't get them all, that's what happens. So in this case, I'll have to edit mesh, delete edge vertice to get that out of there. So now I have vertices only on the corners, and I have this nice clean box. And now this thing fits directly inside this hole. Okay. In an animation terms, you know, that's an important concept that if this was some kind of robot head or something like that, and I need to have two parts that swivel on top of each other, I would have to make them two separate parts. Another thing I see all the time is developing an entire character made out of one solid chunk of geometry. And that's another thing I kind of say, well, you know, why? Why would you do that? Compared to if this geometry had a different material than this geometry, it's almost better to have two separate parts. And if these are pivoted parts that move, this one would move up and down without the axis of this part moving up and down. Those need to be two separate parts rather than try to, it's called skinning them onto a bone structure and making it so these vertices don't move. That's a kind of a backward way of thinking. Make it real, make it how it would work. So that is delete edge vertice. So remember to use that. Don't use the delete function on the keyboard. The only thing that you can use that for is this. Let's say, for instance, I have an edge and I throw an edge in here just to do it. Okay, so I'm going to throw an edge in from here to here. Okay, then the student accidentally deletes the edge because they forgot. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a vertice left behind. See it? So the only way you can get rid of that, you can get it using the delete on the keyboard. That's when you can use the delete on the keyboard. Other than that, don't use it. All right, and that is delete edge vertice.